We have a real problem when Fox parades itself as a conservative network, and they have the audacity to have the shillelagh thrower, O'Reilly, get up there and stare into the camera and say that Roberts is a brave man, an honest man who did a conservative thing. That's an utter lie. That is absolute propaganda.
O'Reilly is basically a secret liberal who uses just enough talking points from The Godfather, you, and the others to make his other uneducated conservatives go, look, he's not a liberal, he's a conservative.
But no, Travis, how does a fraud like him, a malarkey thrower like O'Reilly, have such numbers? I know he lost his radio show because radio's a different medium. You can't use women with cute legs and lipstick to help boost your ratings. You can't have a stream of prostitutes and others to keep the ratings up. You have to base it on what you're saying, and all you have is your voice and your mind and your guts. And O'Reilly had none of those, and that's why he flopped in radio. But how does he get away with it on television?
Because of the National Education Association, the biggest unionized thugs in America.
I would say it's because of the ditzy girls that he uses on the show as eye candy. I think that's his biggest claim to ratings. They're all waiting for him to bring another. I think he wants to bring. They can't wait to see O'Reilly bring another leg crosser up, so he can pretend that he's talking to them when all he's doing is using them as a sexist would use a woman. Thanks for the call. He's a good guy, that caller. That's all. So it's the 4th of July. I think I'll take the day off tomorrow. Go out on the boat. Think about it. Well, you don't care about any of this. Why should I care? Why should I blow myself through a roof here? And wake up one day. Would they find me one day in the bed with a blown artery from this? What am I doing this for? No one. It doesn't have any effect. We have the biggest fraud in the history of America, in the history of American politics. We have a completely unqualified anti-American man in the White House getting away with one major policy change after another, and nothing stands in his way from a complete and total takeover of this nation and a complete and total disaster for our individual freedoms. And I will tell you right now that I'm going to play for you that important speech because the general noted it as well. It's chilling. I want you to listen to that speech. This is Obama caught off mic before his election. Listen.
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well-funded.
He's a fascist. He's a smiling fascist. A civilian national security force as just as strong and just as powerful as the military. This is what Hitler did with the SA. This is what every dictator does who comes to power, who distrusts the military, because within the military ranks there are true patriots that are not loyal to him. This is why Hitler created the Adolf Hitler Brigade within the SS, which was the most loyal group of bodyguards that he had, because he handpicked every one of them. Is this what you want for America? Will that jerk from Cincinnati call me up and say it's a good thing to have a civilian national security force because it's not filled with a bunch of white crackers? It's filled with Black Panthers who we can trust? Is that what's coming next? You know, as I stand here, that liberals will say that's a good thing, a civilian national security force. You know that these locksteppers, no matter what Obama does, if he built internment camps, they would say it's a good thing. There's nothing he can do that they would say is wrong. Virtually nothing this man could do that they would disagree with. They are brainwashed fascists. They are dangerous. And there's only a very thin line that stands between them and the total annihilation of this nation. That is what I think. That is what I see. That is what I act upon every day of my life. So now I've established what I think, what I see, what I say, and that's my July 4th message to you. If I were alone in this, you wouldn't be listening to me. If you didn't agree with me, I don't think you'd be as loyal a listener as you have become. Moreover, I am not alone. Moreover, the real military men agree with me, every last one of them. The ones who don't agree with me are the frauds that Obama handpicked and put into the Pentagon to destroy the military from within. The very same people who are now downsizing the military and twisting the military into a social experiment from which it may never recover. They're not generals. They are the enemy within. Every nation has faced them going back to ancient times. We ourselves are going through a very strange time where we have a naked Marxist in the White House, in plain sight, enacting one Marxist policy after another with almost no opposition to speak of. Now, whether they compromised Roberts through blackmail or through some other means, we will never know. We will never understand how they got to Roberts, but they did. This would not be the first time that a judge has been compromised or bought out. You say it can't happen here? What do you mean it can't happen here? Why not? Who is Roberts? He's just a man. He was a lawyer. Who says he's above? Who says he's above being blackmailed? And who says that they're not blackmailing him? How can you prove that he's not being blackmailed by the Obama administration? You can't. Nor can I prove that he was blackmailed. So let's go to my fallback theory. I told you I ran into a world-famous medical professor and neurologist last week, and we had a discussion. And he told me that as an epileptic who takes medication, you should tell your audience that epilepsy medicine can cause cognitive dissonance. It can cause lapses in reasoning. I told you that, and the vermin on the left said that I attacked epileptics, which, of course, is how people lie about me all the time, but I'm used to it. I never said epilepsy is bad. My grandmother was an epileptic. It's a horrendous disease. I never said anything about epileptics. I said the medication that is used for epilepsy can cause cognitive problems, okay, meaning your thinking can become blurred. Well, I went to the same doctor today. Actually, you know what he said to me today? He said, you better tell your audience the following. I want everyone in America listening to this show, and there may not be a lot of you today, I want you to hear the rest of that story about Roberts and his medication and his unfortunate illness. He said, the layman doesn't know the following, Michael, but I'm an expert in neurological disorders. He said, if you have a seizure, you must give up your driver's license for a year. He said, why is Roberts permitted to be on the bench with seizures? It means that he may be impaired in his thinking. He said, tell your audience that if you have a seizure, you have to give up your driver's license for a year, and yet you're able to drive the nation for the rest of your life, he said to me. Tell the audience about it, Michael. He begged me to tell you about that little fact. Well, I just told you about that little fact. So you have a choice. There are only 3 reasons that Roberts stabbed America's conservative movement in the back. 1, because he's being blackmailed by the Obama administration, and we will never learn the truth. 2, because he is actually a liberal who wanted to be loved by the liberal establishment, which, by the way, he received the accolades the very next day in a private meeting amongst lawyers and judges who loved him to death for turning coat and going to fight with the British against the Americans, so to speak. And number 3, the only other possibility, there's only 3 possibilities, is that his medication has affected his thinking. That's it. You have to use logic to figure these things out. But you can't use the same excuses for the leprechaun on Fox News. The leprechaun, so far as we know, does not suffer from any seizure disorder. Thank God, I'm glad that he has good health. So we cannot blame medication for O'Reilly's behavior. We do not think that he's being blackmailed because that went away a long time ago when Fox News bought off his accuser for millions of dollars. That's well established. The loofah man was exposed, and they brushed it under the table rather than suing him and trying to destroy him for such peccadillos as some people in the media do to their talent. They actually supported him. So that's not the reason. The third possibility is one that you can figure out for yourself. It's that simple. Let's have some July 4th music, Ray. Let's get some da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You got any patriotic music for the... That's what I need. The average schmendrick out there didn't understand 1 out of 4 words I said so far. I'm a conservative. I love America. Roberts is a patriot. He did a service to America. O'Reilly told me so. That's a good thing. We'll take over the country and we'll reverse it. Yeah. Listen to that crowd hummer. He knows what he's talking about. And that George Will. Yeah, they're real smart conservatives. Yeah, hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Get out the hot dogs and the balloons, yeah! Why not do it in the road? If it feels good, do it. Why not do it in the road? Yeah, hip, hip, hooray! Welcome to America. Get out your iPhone, your my phone, your me phone, his phone, the dog phone, the cat phone. I'll be right back.